Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host Runz. What in God's name were you just playing?
Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, so this week's episode, by the way, before we begin, I just want to say happy 2-year anniversary to us. This is... the day this comes out will actually be the day before our 2-year start date, which was July 9th of 2015. So we've made it 2 years. Oddly enough, we don't have episodes to equal 2 years worth, which is a little odd. But I think that's just because sometimes we did one every 2 weeks at the beginning. Remember the first 5 months, we'd be like, there's nothing really to do this week, so let's condense it. So our 100th episode, because the math doesn't make sense, but the 100th episode will be coming up right before Summerslam, but this is our 2-year anniversary, so woohoo to us. And also just to remind you guys that we're brought to you in partnership with pwponderings.com, rhworld.com, and lastwordonprowrestling.com, and we're featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. And we just want to thank you guys for being around for the ride for 2 years. We've had quite a good time doing it so far, and we're not stopping anytime soon, so thanks for joining us. All right, so do you want to start out just going over WWE week in order, or are we going to sprinkle in just kind of with Great Balls of Fire, and that's how we'll cover Raw? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's usually what we'll do, and then I figure we'll just talk about Evolve quickly, and then we'll get into Great Balls of Fire.
All right, so WWE. So what I thought Raw was. I thought both shows were pretty good this week.
Well, I thought we were talking about Evolve.
Oh, we're going to do Evolve first. Okay, sorry. So, Evolve has 2 shows this weekend. They're going to be coming from... They're running for the first time in Charlotte, North Carolina on Saturday night at 8 p.m. That's Evolve 88. Let's see, we got...
These have to be the first Evolve shows in how long that don't feature Matt Riddle.
You know what? It's really weird. You say that now, and it just hit me as you said it. I was looking through the card, I was a little confused that I didn't see his name, but it didn't make sense to me.
I take it for granted, so just before the show, when I was looking through the cards, I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? And then I looked up and then remembered that he's defending the Atlas title for Progress on Sunday, so he's in Europe doing, all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Huh. I guess...
He's defending the title against Walter, who we were talking about last week, who's going to be in the PWG Battle of Los Angeles this year, so that'll be interesting to, try and catch that match and get a glimpse of him. Yeah,
wow. I think this is the first time I've ever seen that he's not on the cards.
Right, exactly.
For me, right?
He's been there since we started going.
Huh, interesting.
And speaking of Bola and Matt Riddle, he has to be in the Battle of Los Angeles, right? I'm pretty sure he was last year and lost, but he's got to be in it.
Let's see. So Keith Lee's in it, so you know that it's not an Evolve thing, that's going to prevent him from...
Right. Keith Lee, Trevor Lee, Dijak. Okay. It just seems logical that Riddle would be in that mix.
When does Bola actually happen?
July? August?
Okay. All right, so it'll be coming. So they still have time to announce the final participants and things like that. So maybe they're just holding off Riddle till the end. Well, this weekend, I like to see that they're running different places. I hope that's successful.
Yeah, I think Charlotte will be a good test for them, a good crowd.
Yeah, and also even Marietta, Georgia, I think that's not far from, that's not far from kind of the hotbed of Atlanta over there in WCW country, and, they're going further back, Jim Crockett and stuff like that. So you have wrestling fans down there, so you'd assume they get some turnout. Although, generally it seems that a lot of the shows don't have... I don't think you have a lot of old-timey wrestling fans who show up to these shows.
Agreed.
Right? It's kind of like our age group.
But I think it would be the same crowd that went to the Ring of Honor TV at whatever Center Stage.
Center
right?
Stage, yeah. Which they're actually.
I'm assuming that would be that same type of crowd.
The wife gave a big negatory on going back to Atlanta at the end of August, unfortunately. So I don't think I'll be making that show.
Thank God.
Kind of bummed. She said hot Atlanta in August, and I didn't think about that. And I was like, yeah, that's probably not the best idea in terms of heat. So, well, the big matches from '88. You have, let's see, I like that ACH is going up against Austin Theory. You know, Austin Theory's finally officially with Priscilla Kelly. I felt like,
And the heel.
yeah, I felt like it took too long.
No, I didn't mind that because it wasn't like a drawn out thing. It was just she showed up during matches and that was it. You know, it wasn't like all this talking and all this storyline going into it. It was just her showing up for a while, and then when they did get together, it was in a heel way, and now that's fine. You know, I enjoy that. I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings. But my question here is, like, ACH kind of started his little heel turn, you know, at the last show. So maybe he takes another loss, and that really pushes him over the edge. That would make sense to me.
Out of kayfabe, you know, we often hear, or we've talked about how the opening match, right? I mean, and they say this in wrestling, like opening match is very important. So, you know,
I was, you know, he was in whatever the second match the night before. Like, that would piss me off more than being in the first match, you know?
Yeah. So that's why
I get
it was
like,
weird.
That's not the main event, but that's like your second main event.
Yeah, I mean, that's especially when you have no dark matches, that's the match that gets everybody up and going, you know? So that was the only thing that for me felt a little weird about that whole promo he cut, but it'll be weird here to see, that little kind of heel turn ACH versus official, right? Like
Big
real
heel turn,
creepy heel turn of Austin Theory, which I think he needed. I don't know how much longer you could have kept Austin Theory just that white meat young baby face.
Right, like he needed some type of something. You know, I don't know if it was the heel turn or just getting more time on the card, you know, that whatever, but I'm not opposed to the heel turn. I like what they're doing. So, you know, every time we see him, we're just kind of like in awe that this kid is 19 years old and is in the shape and looks the way he does. So, you know, I really think the sky's the limit for him, especially in Evolve, and it's going to be fun to see where they go with him.
Awe, anger, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but seeing a 19-year-old who's that successful.
Jealousy, rage.
Yeah.
He's like, his body is that of a 30-year-old. It's crazy to see in person. Like, he's a grown man at 19. And, like, you know, obviously he didn't turn 19 and that sprouted out of nowhere. So I can only imagine when he was 17 and 16, and it's freakish.
It took me 35 years to get in that same shape, you know, so I'm a little...
Absolutely.
And
29, still a long way off of it, so I don't know.
All right. Then we have Beretta versus Yehai. I'm just happy to see Beretta. It's kind of exciting now, especially after the breakup with Romero, where he's kind of going out singles. So I think it's good to see him get this work here. And I've always liked Yehai's work. So I think this will be a good match. Although I don't. It's just a special attraction match. Sometimes I just feel like that label's put there because they don't have any backstory to it other than the fact that, hey, nobody's seen this before. Yeah,
and, you know, at some point they're going to run out of those first-time matchups. But I love Trent Beretta. You know, when they were wrestling the Bucks, it kind of popped in my head like, yeah, I really liked him on his own at Evolve. I wonder when they're going to give him that kind of a run in a real company. And then it happened right away on New Japan. So I'm very excited to see what they do with him there. Definitely excited to see what Evolve does with him. Hopefully he sticks around. And, you know, him against Zack Sabre and PWG was awesome. And so I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, him be built up properly in Evolve and have some fun matches there. Yay
yeah,
high.
I understand, but who do you think walks away the winner here?
I think Beretta should get the win.
Right, because he lost at the last show. No, wait.
No, he beat Austin Theory.
He beat Austin Theory. Then he got attacked. Okay.
Yeah.
So he could take a
Yay
loss.
High doesn't really lose very often, so I think it would be a good win for Beretta to get here and cement his place and Evolve at the top of the card or near the top.
I'm also looking forward to Williams versus Darby Allin. I go
ahead.
Heel Williams versus Allin, I think will work really well.
Yeah, the angle that they ran at the Boom was good, and I guess they really oversold the Darby Allin injury. Like, I don't know how broken his elbow really was, so it's good to see him back, and it'll be fun to see that match and see where they go with Darby in the near future.
Yeah, did you get to see Darby's video? They've had some good videos Evolve recently.
No, I haven't really been watching them.
Alan basically, Alan has a promo video, and Stokely commented that it was creepy, basically because he's like standing in the rain and kind of doing his dark stuff. So I thought it was pretty fun, and I just like the way. I mean, Stokely with Williams and Catchpoint, and just he's great. I don't know if you saw he had it's supposed to be from TMZ Sports, and it was Stokely walking out of a building and TMZ like camera crew following him and asking him questions about the event, and then Evolve actually tweeted out like, it seems that TMZ may have interviewed Stokely, and Stokely responded like, "I've never lied a day in my life." So I've never heard of TMZ Sports section. I don't know much about TMZ, but I felt like it was the greatest TMZ thing I've ever seen. Probably not done by them, but still quality stuff. So I really enjoyed it.
There definitely is a TMZ Sports. How real it is, I don't know. I didn't see it, but yeah.
Yeah, I just find it.
I don't think TMZ Sports would be covering Evolve and Stokely. So
no offense, not that they shouldn't, but I was surprised that they would.
I think they have bigger goals in mind there, larger audiences.
So what do you think? Does Allen lose both matches this weekend?
I don't know who he's fighting in the second one, but
it
wouldn't shock me.
He's fighting Thatch the next night.
Maybe he gets the win over Thatcher.
It's interesting. I think it's going to be
I don't understand this whole Darby wanting a title match and continuing to push for one, because I don't want to see him as a champion. Like, that would really be a far drop-off at the moment. So I don't know where they're going with any of this.
I mean, you have the underdog thing, right?
Yes.
But it's too much.
He's not...
He's
like the underdog because he loses and gets killed. He's not like the underdog who comes up and wins. Like, that's not what he does. So it's a strange story for him to all of a sudden, I want this title match against Zack Sabre. I don't know. Not now. You're not... I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you still have that whole idea that they had those, in the other... in the WWN family, you had Darby as part of Uncle John's friends, right? And that was Priscilla Kelly was part of that group. So maybe he loses and she starts, like, she brings him into the fold. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
And then you have Lee versus Paige, which I gotta say, I think that for me, for the whole weekend, and we'll talk about the next show briefly, but I think this is the match I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, that's not true. I'm definitely looking forward to this match. But, I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun to see them match up and what they do with it.
Yeah, no. I like the story of both, so I want to see what happens going forward on that one. Then Jaka and Dickinson defend against Anthony Henry and James Drake. Yeah,
which is interesting because they face each other on the next night. So That's a little strange, but, this will be a nice win for Jocko and Dickinson and just keep that title reign going.
I think this. This is the problem sometimes with the Evolve double shots. I like that they'll say if this person is still champion, this is the match and things like that. So they don't put it set in stone. But at the same time, I understand the desire to announce matches beforehand. But then it makes it weird when you have the idea that Henry and Drake could win the titles, but then the next night they're going to face each other.
Right.
I think maybe you'd almost be better off with a couple of match announcements and just letting things play out.
Like Anthony Henry versus James Drake is selling any extra seats necessarily, so I don't know why you announce that and then kind of ruin. I don't think they're going to win tag titles and face each other. So
I mean, but it's also the same. I think the real problem here is, and then Dickinson and Jocko the next night have an open contract. To me, the problem with the tag team division in Evolve is that I really feel like it's just Dickinson and Jocko.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't name another tag team in the company. I don't think there is one.
There isn't. So it's just a little. I don't know how to put it. Anticlimactic, or it just seems like there's no shot. That they're going to win.
I mean, at some point, maybe they lose in an open challenge or to one of these up-and-coming teams from one of the local promotions. But, at the moment, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen right away. The match that I'm more excited for, and then Paige and Lee is the main event. Zack Sabre against Thatcher in the no-holds-barred match. I think that's going to be really physical and a really fun match to watch. We've talked about how much the Evolve crowds hate Thatcher, and we know how good Sabre and Thatcher are, so this is going to be a really physical match and definitely a lot of fun to watch.
Do you think this is the start of Thatcher's second reign?
No.
Damn it. Well, I'm going to be rooting for Thatch. All right. Night 2, like I said, we talked about the open contract. We talked about Henry versus Drake already. We didn't mention that Kincaid's going to be wrestling the first night against Caleb Conley, and then he's going to be wrestling John Davis. So they're bringing in guys from the other...
Nice to see Conley back.
Yeah. I think he's... Is he not wrestling full-time with TNA anymore? Or Global Force?
Yeah, I'm not sure really what's going on with that, if he's kind of just done with them and back more to the indies, or if just they're looser on letting him wrestle around. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see him back. Kincaid, he was at the last show after recovering from that kind of neck injury that he's had. So he's very different to watch. I want to see a little bit more develop with him though, right? Because it's only enough times where he's just a little different than everyone is the story. I think you need to have a little.
And hopefully, hopefully they put him in the ring with Thatcher on purpose. So hopefully they use that as the springboard for actually giving him some character development or reasons why he does the things he does. Because if you don't watch those Evolve mini documentaries, and I know I missed the one on Kincaid, if you don't watch those, then you don't know why the hell he does the things he does.
Yeah, I do like the mini documentaries. I wish
they really help, but if you miss them, then you miss basically like the Evolve TV show.
What do you think about the fact that they don't do traditional like promos? Do you think that they should?
What do you mean, like?
It seems like you never have like backstage promos from them, right? Like post-match stuff. Like they do it a little bit at FIP.
Yeah, but they do everything in the ring. They just have one guy come out after the match and then just go from there. So
but I wouldn't mind if instead of always having documentaries, once in a while having a backstage promo.
Yeah, but a backstage promo doesn't. I don't know. I don't need to see a backstage promo during the night. I don't know.
All right, I get what you're saying. Then what else do we have? So Thatch versus Allen. I don't. I don't
I think
know.
that'll be good.
I can't see Allen winning that match.
Maybe he just gets that underdog roll up and somehow gets the win and pisses Thatcher off, pisses Stokely off, gives him a reason to say he can fight Sabre.
It's almost scary.
Thatcher against Darby is the biggest heel against the biggest babyface, basically.
Yeah.
In Evolve or at La Boom, at least. So, I mean, if we get to see that, that'll be a fun environment.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Then Lee versus Williams, also in another grudge match. I would think Lee would go over here. I feel like, I mean, he keeps getting. He hasn't really.
I think he loses to Page the night before, so I think him beating Williams makes sense.
Then you've got Beretta versus Austin Theory in their return grudge match. So I don't know. It all depends on what happens with Theory the first night against ACH, right? Because it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's weird because now
he could go 2-0.
I love that ACH made that complaint, and then it seems like he would not. Like maybe he'll be the first match. I don't know.
Maybe ACH beats him, and then he beats Beretta.
Beats Beretta. Yeah, that'd be fine. And then especially if there's some kind of chicanery there, then I think it's less.
Yeah.
And then you have Sabre, if he's still champion, defending against Yehai. So then, does that mean? See, according to this, that means that if Sabre were to lose, does he fight Yehai and then Thatcher defends against Allen?
Yeah, it could be. But that's not going to happen, so it's not even worth
I know,
discussing.
but that's part of why I think that some of this is difficult, right, to call or to discuss, because you want to, and I understand them creating the idea that there is that anything can happen, right? But realistically, because the shows are so close together, you figure that's probably not the case.
Well, but that's because we're using our wrestling logic or whatever the case. But Darby could fight Thatcher for the title. He's been claiming for a title shot, for a couple months. So it could work out either way, but we just know that it probably won't.
All right, that's fair. That's a fair point. All right, so those were the Evolve shows. Any other comments before we move on to WWE?
No.
All right, so let's move on to WWE. What did you think of? What did you think of the week overall, basically?
I thought it was okay. The July 4th edition of stuff is always just kind of whatever. So Raw was kind of just a normal show. The Enzo promo was really good. Enzo and Cass is awesome. The Brock and Joe stuff was good, but we'll get to all that with Great Balls of Fire. But SmackDown was okay. I liked Rusev coming back. Tamina and Lana was an interesting thing that happened. So I don't know. We'll see what goes on.
I love the ambulance stuff. It's so the official way for them to win the match, right? Is the doors have to close. Is that it?
Yes.
So it's not like the car has to move. It's just the doors have to close.
Usually it drives off afterwards.
Okay, but it's not like if the doors close and it starts moving, they can open back up and the guy can jump out, right? That's never happened?
That can happen, but that's not. Yeah, he already lost the match.
All right, so let's see. Do you want to just? I'm trying to think if there's anything big to discuss from the shows. If we're going to cover most of the Great Balls of Fire stuff, most of the Raw stuff during Great Balls of Fire, then we don't have to look at that. I like the Rusev return too. What do you think about the Cena free agent thing?
I mean, it's been rumored for a while that's was going to be his role going forward, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, he's John Cena. He deserves to be on both shows if that's what they're going to do. I mean, he's working for 3 months, and then he has 3 months off, or he goes to film something. So, it is what it is in terms of his schedule. So I'm fine with him being on Raw and then on SmackDown, or feuding with Rusev on SmackDown, and then after that's over, going to feud with Rollins on Raw or whatever the case. I think this is going to lead to the last man that he mentioned on that list, which was Roman Reigns, John Cena, possibly at WrestleMania.
A couple of things. I think his free agentness just to me screams Vince McMahon. It's like, damn it, I want him on both shows. Find a way to make it happen. Because I don't know, I don't really like that he's going to be on both shows. To me, then that means
But I don't think it's like he's going to be involved with Roman and AJ Styles in the same week. I think he's just going to be on Raw for a month, and then maybe he'll move to SmackDown for a month. I don't think he's so much going to be a focus on both shows at the same time.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. So he's not like a designated pitcher in softball when you don't have enough players. It's more like he's just going to be marginally involved in both.
Right, but I don't mind that because at this point in his career, there's matchups that I want to see that guy have before it's all said and done, and some of those guys are on Raw, some of them are on SmackDown, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
What did you think about the rap battle? I feel like everyone's talking about that.
Phenomenal. It was amazing, and the rated R line about Xavier Woods was just.
On a side note,
amazing.
I'm never gonna watch. If that's what they think rated R is, I would never go see a rated R movie with my son. Like no matter how old he is.
It can't the line makes so much more sense and is so much better if they say X-rated. They should call you rated X Xavier or something like that.
Why not?
But because if they say rated X, then you really know that they're talking about the porn. If they just say rated R, maybe people will just kind of take it for what it is. So
I just think in Samoa,
rated X is a little too much for the PG.
That's so funny. Rated X is too much for PG. It just makes me think that movies in Samoa are really crazy. Like when you see rated R, you're like, yo, I shouldn't go to see that. Because it's they're I understand why they did it, but it just makes it seem like the Usos don't know what the difference between rated R and rated X is. Logistically, I know why they did it, but it's still a little weird. Because it's like if you're going to make the reference, I don't know.
You cannot go all the way with that. They edited it off everything. No, they edited it off everything anyway.
Oh, they did?
They cannot. Yes. You cannot say rated X. You cannot directly say the porn that you made.
Come on. He should have been like Xavier and then turn the page or something like that. It would have been great. I'm a terrible person. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else? Well, I could have done with. I liked the AJ Gable match. I could have done without it being the gain entry.
However, but it makes sense because if you watch Talking Smack, then that's what Kevin Owens is complaining about. I already beat Chad Gable. I already beat AJ Styles. Neither one of them should be in this battle royal. Oh, okay. So you beat them both. We'll make them earn their way in then. So I don't mind that. It continues that story, and it made sense for that. But we all knew AJ was winning that battle royal from the moment it was booked. So but that's fine. Mojo eliminated Ryder. We got stuff out of that. So that's what you want to see from the battle royal.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there was a certain point where I was looking around the ring to see who was left, and I was like, there's no shot that anybody else wins but AJ, right? It was.
Let's see. Jinder Mahal is the WWE champion. I think that's out the window. I'm on any show now. I'm just like, hey man, fuck it. Who the hell knows?
I was kind of scared that Mojo was going to win.
Nah, that wasn't happening. He's involved with the whole thing with Zach. That's obvious.
I didn't like the fact that he loses, that he tosses Ryder out, and then he gets tossed out immediately. Is the only thing
That's how that works.
Yeah, it has to. Okay.
Isn't that like how the tag team elimination usually goes? Like somebody eliminates him, then they're like, "Hey, what the fuck, bro?" And then somebody else comes and eliminates him while he's talking to the partner. Yeah.
True. All right. Okay, so I'll deal with that. Who goes heel? Is there heel?
I think Ryder has to be the person that goes heel. Mojo is too. He can't stay hyped as a heel. That's not a thing that can happen.
I like that. What? I mean, I think heels could be hyped, or
No, that dude is too high energy to be a heel.
I don't get.
He's just going to start walking to the ring. That would change everything about him.
Oh, okay. But he's like that. Couldn't he be like that heel that you hate from school? Like a jock who's just super amped up and you kind of hate him? Like, I mean, other teams must hate Gronk, no?
Well, yes. But, like, no, because that's just not Mojo to me. Like, he's not that cocky, arrogant dude.
Yeah,
like,
because I don't even hate Gronk. I kind of want him on my team.
Well, but exactly. You hate to play against Gronk, but you respect the hell out of him. You know, like that can't be Mojo.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fair. Yeah, I mean, that was really... I said that the shows were better this week, but I feel like...
Yeah, they were better, but that's not a high bar.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to... I enjoyed it. I really... It's funny because I know a lot of times the holiday editions are not as important, and it annoys me because I actually watch, like, most of the time whenever there's a holiday edition, I'm actually home in time to watch it.
Right. I'm so amped up, like, hell yeah, we're off today. I just get to watch Raw. I don't have to worry about going to work. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's a fucking holiday. It's going to suck.
Yeah. I mean, Cena coming back was a big deal, so they normally wouldn't do that. Right.
Like, was it? Like, yeah, joy. Like, you know, him coming back on the 4th of July is, oh, great, the all-American boy is back, you know?
All right. Fair. True. I mean, that was a little corny. I wish he would have done more, done more of his military. What was that game where he had that friend, Tony, or something?
Yeah.
Right? The military friend who gave him... Isn't that how he got his dog tags in that game, at least?
I don't remember.
Something like that. Something ridiculous. Like he was wearing the guy's dog tags to the ring as the... I don't know. All right.
Anyway.
Great Balls
On
of
to the
Fire.
pay-per-view.
Great Balls of Fire.
Say whatever the hell you want about the name of the pay-per-view. This is a fucking good pay-per-view.
Yeah, no. The pay-per-view is great. I feel like this name is just so terrible. It bothers me, but... I would say, and we're going to go into it now, but top to bottom, there's only one match that I really don't care for. Everything else I'm really into.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this card and this lineup, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching the pay-per-view on Sunday.
All right, so let's go with the kickoff. Neville versus Akira Tozawa.
See, like, why would that be on the kickoff and not Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar?
Cedric Alexander and Dar is not officially on the card.
Is it not on the card?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it could pop up, but right now, look, I'm on the official WWE website, so unless they're planning on changing something beforehand, that's our card. So, yeah, Cedric and Noam is not there. I'm not... I mean, I see what they've been doing with Tozawa, but I really don't care. Is that terrible? I'm not interested in that storyline.
I like the Titus Worldwide and the Titus brand and all that stuff, and I think it got a big boost on Monday when they were in the main event against Braun, and so I'm liking what they're doing with that. There's got to be a reason why they're on TV so much, so you know I'm fine with it, and we'll see what they do with Tozawa. It's a weird fit, and I think that's kind of what makes it, you know, something you want to watch and see how they develop it. So I don't think Neville loses, but that's kind of beside the point, I guess.
You know what I find? I almost feel like Titus is a counterfeit of Stokely. Like, if Stokely were in that position in WWE, I think it would be so much more interesting than Titus.
Maybe. I like Titus, though. I think he's real entertaining.
He just doesn't come off as... I guess Stokely comes off as obnoxious. That I think is better for this angle. Obnoxious in a different way. Because what's his name is so big.
Right, and
Titus.
I think that's kind of what makes this more enjoyable for me. Is like it's he's a huge dude who's kind of like forcing these guys to be part of his brand, and they're kind of like Stockholm syndrome. They're getting accustomed to it. I'm enjoying this.
I'm still not interested in Tozawa though. Like this
I like
hasn't.
Tozawa. Like he's really good. Like I've watched his stuff like with Steen and PWG and Generico and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I'm happy to see him on the big stage and getting some type of something.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But then part of me, I want to see Grand Metalik, and we haven't seen. I want to see Lince Dorado win more matches and be up there.
Meh.
So I know. I guess I mean, you know what it is. Both of us obviously are going to have the people that we lean towards a little bit more. So
Neville is the focus of this cruiserweight division, so I'm fine with that at the moment, and it's going to mean something when he loses that title. So they've done a good job in that regard.
where's Aries been?
I don't know if he was like hurt and taking some time to recover that, but I mean, there's no coming back from losing to Neville 7 times, so it's good that he needed a little time off.
Yeah, I guess that might be happening. I don't know. I thought he was recovering from his injuries, so it's just kind of weird. But I guess it's better off because what were you going to do with him after he lost?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So just keep him off for a while. Then, so after that, you're going to have Enzo Amore versus Big Cass. So I think Enzo wins.
I think it's entirely possible that he comes across with the win and pisses Cass off, but I'm still going to say that Cass just gets this win and dominates him.
Because the only reason I'm saying that Enzo wins is I feel like the smart money is to have this match at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I could also see where Cass dominates Enzo. He keeps coming back, fighting back. He won't quit, and then it comes to like maybe like the ref stops the match or something like that, and maybe we see Enzo get the upset win at SummerSlam. In the feel good moment.
I think I'm gonna go to WWE and start some sort of faction of guys who might be turned on soon, just to offer more protection.
Okay.
Just put Enzo together. I'll have Sami Zayn there. I'll just R-Truth, just all these guys who their friends are turning on them, and things will be safer for everybody. I think Chris Jericho.
You just have to learn to choose the right person in the tag team. That's just your biggest flaw.
Well, I'm not going to root for a guy who
Generico, Gargano,
Wait, hold on.
Truth.
I'm a teacher. You want me to root for a guy whose skill set is based on something that you can't teach? The fact that he's 7 foot tall? Like I don't associate with him.
Isn't that what Enzo's skill set is based on? Something that you can't teach?
Well, he's a certified G and a bona fide thug, right? Stud. You know why?
Right, you can't teach that.
You can't teach that because he learned it, right? Over
So then you can teach it.
over struggling. Well, no, it's not that you
Nope.
can teach it. He had to go through hardship to learn it. Whereas Cass, the thing that you couldn't teach is that he's 7 foot tall. He was just born that way. Well, not born 7 foot tall, but born predisposed to being taller. And I have no respect for that.
Okay. But he wasn't a good wrestler when he was born, so he had to learn that, right?
Well, is he a good wrestler now?
Yeah.
Shots fired. Come
Is
at me,
Enzo?
Big Cass. Come at me. I'm not scared of you. I don't care that you're 7 feet tall. Sick and
Yeah,
tired of
okay.
this nonsense. All right, so we have our issues there, but I'm going with Enzo. I hope he squeaks out a victory, and then gets demolished at SummerSlam, I suppose. Then we have Miz versus Ambrose. Wow, I mean, I'm really excited about seeing Miz versus Ambrose. It feels like a first-time match. These two guys rarely fight each other, so it'll be interesting to see how their styles go together.
Yeah.
Miz wins.
Yeah, I really don't think it makes any sense for Miz to lose after having the Miz Taraj and all that stuff going on.
Do you think the Miz Taraj gets involved?
Yeah, I would say so.
Then you have a 30-minute Iron Men match between.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I don't know. What I don't really see here is, I don't think Cesaro and Sheamus lose, right? But then do you throw in another tag team before SummerSlam?
I guess I don't see them losing either. So I don't know necessarily who the next challengers are, but I think that's a problem they can figure out.
Like, do you end this in a draw, so that then you have another gimmick match at SummerSlam?
No, if they end this in a draw, I'm not watching a tag team match ever again, because they ended the 2 out of 3 falls match in a draw. They ended the cage match in almost a draw. That's the whole point of the Iron Man match, is to stop. Oh, they're so even. Let's give them 30 minutes to do this. That's the whole point.
What do you think about it being... I understand that you have other things going on, but what do you think about it being 30 minutes? Does that... Do you think that a 30-minute Iron Man match is as important as a 60-minute Iron Man match?
It's just as important. It's just not as long. I don't think there's any need for a 60-minute Iron Man at this moment. So I'm fine with the 30. I think it's perfect for the tag team, and I think it's going to be a really interesting match.
Is 30-minute WWE Iron Man tag team match even an option in WWE 2K17?
Like 2-on-2 ladder matches and an option, like in 2K17.
All right, yeah. All right. Hopefully they fix that in 2K18. I heard they announced some new stuff for it, but I didn't catch everything.
Yeah, we'll see.
Then Rollins versus Wyatt. I actually realized that I might care more about Neville versus Tozawa than I care about Bray versus Rollins.
See, that's a lie, and it's just flat out unfair.
It's not a lie. I don't care. I don't care who wins this match. I don't.
See, I don't understand. That's a personal holdup, because this is going to be a really good match, and both of these guys are positioned towards the top of the card, and whoever wins, you gotta assume is in line for some type of momentum up the card. So it's going to be fun to see where they go from here. But I'm definitely looking forward to this match. I've enjoyed what they've been doing in recent weeks, so I'm definitely excited to see what they do on Sunday.
But I don't see... Okay, so here's my thing. I think Rollins wins, and then Wyatt's just... whatever. What is he going to do?
They can do anything.
But don't you think that his whole shtick, I don't know. I just don't think it's working as much anymore.
Well, you felt that way for 2 years, so that's not going to change. Like you haven't enjoyed anything he's done, so it's unfair. Like you gave up on him and never gave him another chance. So I don't know. Like you hated everything at WrestleMania. Like I don't know what he could do to bring you back in the fold.
I think he needs to call me. I think if I get a phone call from Bray Wyatt, maybe.
The man...
Or he brings out JoJo, and then I'm far more interested.
Right. I mean, the man, however you want to go about it, is accused of having relations with JoJo. He's the greatest superstar of all time.
But that's what... It would make him better if he was... Did you listen, by the way, to the CM Punk episode on the Pritchard Show?
No.
Someone Wrestle? Oh, man. They were talking about whether CM Punk's member is going to be bronzed and put into the Divas Hall of Fame wing. the Divas wing of the Hall of Fame because of all the girls that he was with. So I feel like I don't know, it'd just be so much more interesting with Bray that way. But anyway, you're right. I mean, it's going to be a good match, but I think I soured a long time on Bray, and I have a hard time.
The 2K18 trailer has ruined me with Seth Rollins because I just want to see him be a heel and shit all over the history of WWE.
Yeah, he's so much better as a heel. So much
and
better.
I mean, you know, every year they've incorporated the main thing in the video game into their show, right, for the past 2-3 years. So, I mean, it would really be a shame for them to waste Rollins for another year as being just nothing really going on babyface.
With the big performers you have, Joe and Reigns and Strowman and Lesnar, I just wonder if they're keeping Rollins out of that just because he doesn't kind of fit that same big guy mold, because I feel like the big guy matches are what's making this interesting right now. In terms of you have two guys going against each other that you really don't know who will win.
Right, but I also think that's a byproduct of Brock being the champion at the moment, and so logic would say that it's crowded right now at the top, and that's why, you know, having the Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins feud and matches and all of that is not a bad thing, because it keeps them away from that, and it keeps them in good matches, and then when the time is right for them to step back in there, they've been in big matches, and they've had these main events or these almost main events, and you go from there.
Yeah, that does make sense.
You know, whoever wins on Sunday, they have Roman and Braun waiting in the wings, right? Then you figure maybe even Cena. So it's going to be a couple months before Rollins is in that title picture again, and maybe that's something that helps springboard a heel turn, and he's not getting opportunities and things like that.
Okay. I'm for it. And then you have the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss defending against Sasha Banks. I don't think Bliss loses it so soon. I'm looking forward to the match. I think that Sasha is kind of being moved back up a little bit. But I feel like this match is going to end with some sort of... Is it Tamina? No, not Tamina, I'm sorry. Nia Jax getting involved, maybe, at some point.
Easily could see that going down, but yeah, I completely agree with you. This isn't the time for Bliss to lose this belt, but you know, maybe in 2 months at SummerSlam is when you pull that trigger. So this feud is kind of just getting underway, and it's been fun so far. So I love the matchup of Bliss and Banks, and it's going to should be a really good match on Sunday.
Now, I think the match that I'm most excited for is the ambulance match.
Incorrect.
Right. No, that I'm most excited for is the ambulance match.
Incorrect.
It's not incorrect. Reigns versus Strowman.
It's incorrect.
This ambulance angle has been fantastic.
It's incorrect. Samoa Joe against Brock Lesnar is a dream match.
Joe versus Lesnar feels like one of those UFC events that I actually ordered, which almost never happened. And that
exactly.
Wait, were you there? Were you there when I ordered? Who would I have ordered? Who was the guy with the mohawk? He was kind of...
Liddell?
Yes, Liddell. Liddell versus somebody, and it ended really quickly.
Maybe.
Like, I think I went to the store to get, like, cigarettes. I told everyone to, like, just pause it or something. And I came back, and everybody watched it, and they were like, "Can you believe that happened?" And I was just like, stupid UFC. But no, I'm excited for Reigns versus Strowman just because Strowman's been showing up everywhere in the ambulance. Like, I want Strowman to win. I feel like he's not, but I want him to win, and then just that be his gimmick. Like, he's always rolling around in an ambulance.
I think he has to win. Like, I would be really annoyed if he loses, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm going to go with Braun on this one.
Now, correct me. Roman said that at SummerSlam he wants Brock, or he wants...
I think he said he wants Brock, or he's coming for the title. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But that's the whole thing where, like, everyone is like, oh, well, they have Roman Brock penciled in. Well, maybe they have Roman Brock penciled in as a non-title match. I don't know. You know, it could be. Again, I'm not optimistic, but you never know.
So what do you think? So you think it's going to be Braun? Or is that who just your heart wants?
That's who I want to win, and that's who I think should win. So I'm gonna go with Braun.
All right, me too, because that's who I want to see win. And then you're gonna have the match that you think is more interesting, despite the fact that it has no ambulance involved. Lesnar versus Joe. Okay, Joe's been made to look incredibly strong over the last couple of weeks. Is it just so that Brock's win is more impressive?
I don't know that even matters, but I think it just kind of works out that way because of how good Samoa Joe is. You know, here's a guy who matches up well with Brock, and now they've put him in a position where people actually think he can beat Brock. So that's nice, and that's nice going into a match, not necessarily knowing who's going to win, even though it's more than likely Brock gets the win. But, I mean, man, if they just pull the trigger on Samoa Joe, he is a made man.
Yeah, he could win. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, but I could see him winning.
Joe Reigns on Raw was fantastic. Like, I wouldn't care if that's the main event of SummerSlam. That would be fantastic. Or, you know, you could do a triple threat, you could do a fatal four-way, you could do anything with all of these guys that they have at the top and ready for a title shot. I don't see the harm in Samoa Joe being your world champion right now. I think it would be a great thing for everyone involved, and, you know, it would make for must-watch episodes of Raw. If Samoa Joe is your champion, I'm tuning in every week just out of pure, man, I got to see what they're doing next. What are they going to do with this guy? What's going on? That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I think he provides... And Joe will be around.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. It'll be so much better. I'm kind of done with Lesnar, I think, slightly.
It's awesome seeing him as the champion. Because if this is real, that's your champion. You know what I mean? That guy is your champion. That's how it works. But Joe could and should dethrone him. I think that would just make... Like I said, that would make Samoa Joe. So that's one thing. But the other thing is that sets up everyone else in a nice spot. That gives you Reigns and Joe. That gives you Rollins and Joe. That gives you Balor and Joe, or Cena and Joe. It gives you awesome matchups for that title.
I just realized that. Balor's on the card.
I mean, they'll probably add him against, what's his name, the Drifter.
Elias Sampson. All right, so we're going to agree here, Joe?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would love to see Samoa Joe get the victory, but I'm going to predict Brock is going to win. Okay, I'm
going to go with Joe just because, you know, I'm waiting for that summer intern to contact us about all the back episodes and all our rankings, but I know I'm in the lead, so I'll give this one to you.
Okay.
All right. Any other news Any other news that we didn't cover? Ring of Honor doesn't have anything really going on except for kind of their TV airing out because they don't have another show until I believe the next VOD or whatever kind of bigger event will be the War of the Worlds in the UK. So right now they don't have any. They're not building towards any pay-per-views. And on TV recently, although Kenny King did win the right to be the number one contender for the TV title. So I'm kind of, what I like about that is, especially after the Rebellion broke up, he's going to need a little bit something, so.
Yeah, I don't like that the Rebellion broke up. That's just terrible. But I'm glad to see Kenny King get a nice little shot at a singles run again. And, you know, he just left The Bachelor this week, I believe.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, if that gets him any extra added notoriety or any eyes on what he's doing. So, you know, that's good for him and good for Ring of Honor. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just don't see him beating Kushida for it. I just don't, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. We don't know when the match is going to happen either. We don't know if it's going to happen at the UK tour. It's not. I don't believe it's happening on the TV.
Man, at the UK tour, they would really miss out if they don't have Skrull or Ospreay win the TV title.
Again, though,
when they were there the first time, that's what happened, right? Ospreay won, then Skrull took it from him.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense to me, if you're going to give Skrull the U.S. title, the TV title back, which I would say is a good idea, then why not have it happen in his hometown, or his home country?
That would be pretty exciting. Although, Ospreay hasn't really done a lot.
He hasn't really been around, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the deal with that is.
I think it's just him being a big part of New Japan at the moment.
Oh, did you watch those G1 shows last weekend?
Of course.
They were okay, right?
Oh, they were really good. I loved Lethal and Omega. I loved Omega winning the U.S. title. It makes it important. It makes it mean something, and it gives him something to run with. And it's really there's never any telling with New Japan what's going on, what's going to happen next, and there's a lot of guys in position to succeed, and a lot of guys on that roster who could be the champion or could be a champion, and it's going to be a lot of fun over the summer to see what they do with this G1 and who wins that, and really who steps up into the main event spotlight. It was, Cody versus Okada was okay.
Yeah.
It was what it was, but I never for a second did I really ever think Cody was going to be the New Japan champion. So that just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that either.
But the continuation of him and Omega having a little beef, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, no, I like the towel thing. I was glad I was right about that part. I didn't see it ending the way I guess I got schooled a little bit on New Japan. More, it's even though there was interference, there was still kind of a clean finish.
Yeah.
So that's different. I'm not used to. I'm used to if the guy's going to interfere, he's going to cost the guy the match. Not, it's going to go back to being a match and then, then it ends. But I enjoyed the shows. I enjoyed watching them live, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. They say they're going to come back in 2018, so I think it's going to be great. I mean, I liked the mix of stars they picked to have on the shows. Omega winning made sense in the end, even though I was personally rooting for Lethal. But I think they had a good, strong start. I wonder how much the U.S. title is going to mean in New Japan before the next time they come back.
Most of their singles titles mean something. They do a good job of putting them in good spots and using them properly on the card or giving them to the right guys or with the right storyline build. So, I'm perfectly fine with. But that's kind of what I was saying with Omega winning it. It makes it important, and maybe he holds it until the next time they come back, or somebody beats him. It's going to mean something because they beat Kenny Omega to be that champion. So, as long as they don't switch the title every other night like they do with some of their tag belts, then it'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. I think that is really everything, right?
Agreed.
Can't see we left anything out. All right, so just want to remind you guys that send us an email with trivia or any comments to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. You guys can find us on Twitter at runningwildlws, and we're Running Wild on Facebook. You can also make sure that you guys subscribe, rate, review over in iTunes. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher as well, and Spreaker. I don't think anybody listens to us on those platforms, but we appreciate the feedback, especially going into the 100th episode. We want to run a couple special things, so send us your ideas for that. You can follow my work covering mostly Ring of Honor coverage over at pwponderings.com, as well as rohworld.com and lastwordonprowrestling.com. And you can follow me on Twitter, rich_laconi. It's summertime, so now I tweet random things, mostly wrestling or my son doing something, because I'm spending a great amount of time with him, so definitely fun stuff and weird things going on. Today I was enjoying, there's a hashtag pro wrestler movie, so I was having fun with that today. You should definitely go check that hashtag out. It's actually really hilarious how many different things people have come up with. I love any of those weird wrestler hashtag things. And
yeah, those are always entertaining.
Super fun, man. Alright, so until next week, I just want to remind you guys that you've been listening to the podcast that is just too sweet.